Hi, welcome to my video on the factor theorem. And this factor theorem is when the remainder is equal to 0. Let's discuss it. Factor theorem. X minus a is a factor of the p of x if and only if the p of a equals 0. So notice the words if and only if. That means if x minus a is a factor of the p of x, then the p of a is equal to 0. So that means the p of a, remember, note the p of a is equal to the remainder. So that means that the remainder is equal to 0 in this case. And the if and only if is the reverse or the converse. If the p of a is equal to 0, then x minus a is a factor. That's what's meant by the if and only if. So we reverse it, as you can see. So notice that again, the p of a is equal to the remainder, so hence the remainder is equal to 0. And just drive that note home again, very important on the factor theorem. The p of a is equal to r, and the p of a is equal to 0. That means the remainder is equal to 0. Hence, the x minus a is a factor. So we get a remainder of 0. That means the x minus a is a factor. Is x minus 1 a factor of x squared minus 4x plus 3? So we can do two ways. We can say that a is 1, and we can sub 1 in like this and get 1, and that's a minus 4. So I'll do PEMDAS. I'll do the power first, then I'll do the product of negative 4, and you add them up, you get a 0. So that means that the remainder is equal to 0, so x minus 1 is a factor. Another way to do that is to go the opposite of x minus 1, is go 1 and use synthetic division on 1, negative 4, 3. Draw a line, bring down the 1, multiply, you get 1. Add, you get negative 3. Multiply, you get negative 3. Add, you get a 0. And this number right here is the remainder. And again, you can plug the 1 in to the algebraic expression and work it out to get 0. So that's doing, or you can do synthetic division. Is x plus 2 a factor of x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 8? And one way, again, you can pause the video and work out your answer. You probably would not want to do long division here because it would take too long. So you can say that a equals negative 2, the opposite of this. So we can plug in negative 2 for x. There's the negative 2 gone in, so we do the power first, is negative 8. We do the power of 2, negative 2 squared is 4. So I'm just doing the power first to keep PEMDAS in order. And then I'll do the multiplication. 24 minus 24 plus 8. And that gives me a 0. So the remainder is 0. So x plus 2 is a factor. Notice the remainder is 0. So of x plus 2, let's take a negative 2 and do synthetic division just to check. We got 1, 6, 12, 8. 1, 6, 12, and 8. And do synthetic division. Bring down the 1, multiply, negative 2. Add 4, multiply, negative 8. Add 4, multiply, negative 8, 0. And again, That's the remainder there. So since the remainder is 0, that means x plus 2 is a factor. Is x minus 2 a factor of this trinomial? So again, if x minus 2 is going to be a factor, that means a is equal to 2. So we'll plug 2 in the expression. And here we go, 2 is going in. And we get 16, 4. Remember, I'm only doing the powers first. Now we multiply, negative 12, 8, negative 12, and that's a 24, and 8 is a 24. The remainder is 0, so that means x minus 2 is a factor. Now, if we do synthetic division on this, you have to be careful. We know we're going to use a 2, but when we look at this one, you got to be in descending order. Remember, that's a 4. The 3 x cubed is missing, so we go a 1. X cubed is missing, so that's a 0. X squared is a negative 3. X is 4. Negative 12. Draw a line, bring down your 1. Multiply 2. Add 2, multiply 4, add 1. 2 times 1 is 2, add 6. 2 times 6 is 12, you get a 0. And again, I just put a box there and say the remainder is 0, so that means x minus 2 is a factor. So if we did the subbing in to get 0 remainder, then it's a factor. If you did synthetic division, you had to be careful of putting in the 0 for the x cubed, because it got to be in descending order, filling in all the numerical coefficients. Okay, let's continue. Don't forget to pause the video and work these out before I do. Which binomials below are factors of the p of x equals x cubed plus x squared minus 4x minus 4. So we could turn around and try to factor this, but again, the fastest way to decide that, I could plug the fastest way to do this is take 4, which is the opposite. A is 4, and go into 1, 1, negative 4, negative 4. 1, 1, negative 4, negative 4. Let's see what happens. Bring down to 1, multiply. 4, add 5, multiply. 20. 16, that gives us 64, that gives us 60, and the remainder is 60, so it's a no. Negative 4 is not a factor. Okay, let's go with negative 2 by synthetic division, and we're going to use the same numbers, 1, 1, negative 4, negative 4. Draw a line, bring down your 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, add negative 1. Multiply is a 2, add negative 2. Multiply is a 4, 0. So we have the remainder is 0. So yes, x plus 2 is a factor. And we have an x plus 1, so we're going to do synthetic division with a negative 1. And we got 1, 1, negative 4, negative 4. Draw a line, bring down your 1, multiply, negative 1. Add 0, multiply, 0. Add negative 4, multiply 4, 0. Again, the remainder is 0, so yes, x plus 1 is a factor. And we have a negative 2, so we're going to do a 2. Also notice that x cubed is the degree is 3. The highest degree of any one term is 3. So that means we have 3 factors. Maximum number of factors is 3, but we don't have to have 3 factors. We could have 1 factor, but we got to watch out. Sometimes a factor can be there twice, or it can be a triple. So we could have 1 factor of x, say minus 1 in a problem, but it would be a double. It would be tangent in terms of the graph, or would be a cubic sideways S. So we got to, yes, you have a factor, but you got to be careful that there's not 2 of them or 3 of them there. So let's check the 2. Right now we have 2 yeses, so they could be doubles. So we're going to check 2. That's the third one. So we go 1, 1, -4, -4. Bring down your 1, multiply, 2, add, 3, multiply, 6, add, 2, multiply, 4. And again, the remainder is 0, so x minus 2 is a factor. So we have the 3. There's 3 possible factors. We got 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. So that means that x minus 3 is not going to be a factor. Besides that, notice that the n number here is a 4. 3 is not a factor of 4 unless you get a fraction. So not likely that this is going to work. So let's try synthetic division with 3 just to prove it. 1, 1, -4, -4. Draw a line, bring down your 1, multiply 3, add 4, multiply 12, add 8. 3 times 8 is 24. Add 20. The remainder is 20? No. Since the remainder is 20, remainder is not 0, so that's x minus 3 is not a factor. And if you took the x plus 2, x plus 1, x minus 2, and multiplied it all out, I'm trying to make a P there. When you multiply all this out, you should get this trinomial here. And just have a bit of fun and multiply that out. X, we're going to FOIL this, so it's x squared. Outside -2x, inside 1, so that's a negative x. And the last is -2. Multiply x by these 3, we get x cubed minus x squared minus 2x. Now we're going to multiply positive 2 by these 3 terms. So positive 2x squared minus 2x minus 4. Simplify, we get an x cubed. I get 1 and 2 is plus 1. -2 is -4x minus 4. X cubed, x squared, minus 4x, minus 4. Perfect. So I just did that as a check, but we found the roots by doing synthetic division. Okay. Again, don't forget to pause the video and see if you can work the questions out before I do. If x plus 2 is a factor of this expression, a cubic expression, find the value of k. So we can, x minus 2 is a factor, so that means that a is -2. So we plug the because it's a factor, that means that the remainder is equal to 0. That means that when I sub -2 into this expression, -2 is going in. When I sub -2 in, I have a remainder of equal to 0. So subbing -2 into this expression will give me a remainder of 0. So let's work it out. Do the powers first. -8. I get 5. -2 squared is 4. -2k plus 4 equals 0. And we do I did the multiplication here. I could have left it alone, but it's okay. I did the multiplication of 4 times 5, and we add that up, 2k, and that's 12, and that's adds up to be 16 equals 0. So -2k equals -16 divided by -2, so k is equal to 8. So 8, when you put 8 back in k here, this expression will have -2. And let's just do a check. Let's put 8 back in here. I'm just doing a check now just to show you. So we put 8 back in, and rather than plug it back in again to see if you're going to get a remainder of 0, let's do synthetic division with the -2. So -2, opposite of x plus 2, so we got a 1, 5, 8, 4, but that's a 3, 2, 1, 0 is in descending order. So we draw a line, bring down the 1, multiply, -2, add 3, multiply, -6, add, get 2, multiply is -4, 0. Oh, that's a remainder of 0, so therefore the 8 is okay. If x minus k is a factor of k squared plus -k squared plus 2x plus k minus 6, find the value of k. So x minus k is a factor of this. So that means that a is equal to k, opposite of k. That means it's a factor, so that means the remainder is equal to 0. So if a is k, so I'm plugging k in the place of x. So I get a k. I'm putting k in the place of x. And you just got to be careful here now. So I'm putting, I got k's. If a was 3, I would put a 3 here. I would put a 3 here, etc. But I'm putting k in the place of x, so I put it right there, and I put it right there. Now notice the confusion. I deliberately made this one to go this way to see what happens. Let's see. Now I have to, that's k being squared, so that's k squared, so that's k times k squared. And I'm doing my power first, so k squared, oh, I didn't need that bracket there, that's the same as that, so just take that away and put the bracket there. Sorry, but that bracket is not there, so that's a k squared. K being squared is k squared, so that's k cubed, k times negative, so that's a negative, k times, that's a negative, k times negative k squared is a negative k cubed. 2 times k is 2k plus k minus 6. And they cancel out. And 3k minus 6 equals 0. 3k equals 6. Divide by 3. And k equals 2. Notice how I made some confusion here. So that means if you put, just check, if I put 2 in for k here and 2 here, so that means that k is equal to 2, so x minus 2 is a factor. Okay. Now, if I put 2 in here, I get 2x squared plus 2 here gives me, so that's just, that's negative k squared, so I'm putting 2 in for k, so that's the -4 plus 2x, and k is 2, so I get 2x squared, and that's -2 times x is -2x minus 4, so that's the polynomial that this works out to be, and it says that x minus 2 is a factor. So if we take the 2 out by factoring, we get x squared minus x minus 2. So if x minus 2 is a factor, it's here. So let's take 2 and do synthetic division into right here. That's a 1 negative 1, negative 2. Draw a line, bring it down. So it gives us a 2 when we multiply. That gives us a 1. 2 times 1 is 2. And notice the remainder is 0. So that means that this is true, that 2 is the factor of this trinomial. And another way to do that would be to factor out the 2 right here, because 2 is a GCF. And because this is a quadratic, x squared, then x squared is made up of x times x. Factors of 2 are 2 times 1. And we have to multiply to get a negative and add to get a negative. So it must be negative 2 plus 1. Multiply negative 2 and 1. You get a negative 2. Add, you get a negative 1. So you can see that x minus 2 is a factor. Doing synthetic division, you can see that 0 is a factor. And what would happen if you left it, what happens if you left a 2 here and you did synthetic division by 2? So let's go with 2, negative 2, negative 4. Bring down your 2, multiply, 4. Add to get a 2, multiply, 4. You still, no matter if you took the 2 out, I took the 2 out here by factoring, and I worked on this trinomial with synthetic division. 1, negative 2. I left the 2 in here, and I still did synthetic division with 2, and it still worked out the remainder is 0. So many options, or I could factor this and see that x minus 2 is a factor. So k is 2. Good question. Notice, keep it straight, a is k. So k goes in the place of x because we're subbing it in the place of x. I tried to make it confusing to keep you thinking. And if you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.